Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Happy early Thanksgiving. It's a really beautiful day in this room. I just noticed how great the sun is. So if you're in the shade over here and you would like to go over there into the sun at any point in the class, just feel free to pick up your mat and go to the sun. With that, we're going to start on our backs or in a comfortable seated shape. So if sitting up is a little stressful on your back or your hips, start on your back. Lying on your back might make you fall asleep. Sit up. We'll take a couple moments to allow our bodies to settle. So either sitting or lying back. You could stand if you prefer standing. As you feel your shape, giving your physical body a few moments to intentionally slow down. Your physical body intentionally finding and feeling some stillness. And as we find and feel stillness in the physical body, bringing attention to your breathing. Allowing your body to breathe for you. Allowing your mind to observe your breath. So often our minds want to control things, including how we breathe. So giving ourselves a few moments to practice, just letting your mind soften and relax, the practice of trusting our bodies to breathe for us and resting, taking about 5 to 10 seconds here. And then giving ourselves that gentle reminder that we have total agency over our practice, over what we do for the next 45 minutes. So if something doesn't feel comfortable or safe, knowing you can always come back to this shape or any other shape that helps you feel safe and supported. If soothing touch is beneficial for you, give yourself a moment to bring a hand to your chest, heart space, and a hand on your belly. And then coming back intentionally again, holding your physical body still. Soft, gentle hands wherever they are. Mind softening, practicing letting go of control and letting your body breathe. And it's always a nice time practice to practice gratitude. And so giving ourselves a moment, thinking of 2 or 3 things that we're extremely grateful for here. And as you are reminded of gratitude, feeling the feels, feeling the sensations, this somatic, embodied feeling of gratitude. this feeling of joy, maybe the feelings of appreciation. You might feel your body make some physical shifts just with the thought of gratitude. And then using these feelings of appreciation and joy, of gratitude as a resource. We'll take a few moments to settle and practice feeling gratitude. Noticing what you notice. And so throughout our time together today, you can always come back to this feeling of gratitude and appreciation, gratitude and joy as a resource. And you might have felt like, for me personally, when I just say the word gratitude, if I bring something to mind I'm really grateful for, I feel a shift in my whole body. My whole body lets go of some tension. I feel a little lighter. I feel a little more open. I feel a little more positive. And that's me. And we're all really different. So now shifting back into the physical practice. So this is going to be more physical, where, right, the feelings of joy, gratitude, appreciation are more emotional, energetic. So I'm going to start to blend physical, energetic, and emotional, right? So energetically, right, check in. And then physically, let's bend your knees and put your feet on the floor. So if you're sitting, roll onto your back and bend your knees and bring your feet to the floor. And then bring your arms up towards the ceiling. And just pause for a moment to feel the backside of your body, head, shoulders, ribs, hips, feet, nice and anchored. And then we're going to rotate your palms so they face in. And with an inhale, we're going to do a big T out towards the floor. We do these quite a bit. And then with an exhale, you're going to come in and just cross over and give yourself a really light hug. And then inhale, open back out nice and wide into your T. And then cross over and give yourself a little bit of a hug. Now you can imagine you're in water and you're pulling open. You could feel your arms moving through air. You could also bring awareness and gently feel the movement of your shoulder blades. So you're creating a gentle movement of the shoulder blades across the upper back. Next time your arms open to a T, just let them hover off the floor a little bit. So if you're going that low, the arms hover. Now bring awareness to the back of your heart space. So right between your shoulder blades. And then invite and try and feel the back of the heart space between your shoulder blades, nice and wide. And then come back and try and feel gratitude. Letting the back of the heart have a connection, and then bring your arms all the way up and over and give yourself a hug, and give yourself a really gentle hug, and come back to those feelings of joy, those feelings of appreciation, and take a breath. And then just let your arms come up towards the ceiling. Great. Interlace your hands and bring your hands behind your head now. And let your elbows come a little more up towards the ceiling. So you're in like a pre-sit-up shape. Pick one hand, it doesn't matter which one, and bring that hand away from your head and bring it onto your lower rib cage, upper abdominals. Right? So when we do a little bit of sit-up work here, we want the sit-up to start from the ribs, abdominal connection. All right. So as you exhale, draw your ribs down and then lift your shoulders neck, head, sit up. Look into your belly. Notice how your navel draws down to the floor. And then nice and strong, release all the way back down to the floor. Exhale, ribs, abdominals connect. You can push the rib cage down, shoulders lift up. Tuck your chin a little bit, look at your hand or your belly, and keep tone and strength there as you slowly lower back down. All right, 3 more like that. So the request came in to help our necks out. So can we start to learn to lift and move more from the core and less from the extremities right away? So functional movement coming from the core first, strength of the core, and then the neck and head. Great. Next time you lift up into a little bit of a sit up, it doesn't have to be very high. Come on up and hold for 3 breaths. And then connect and use your abdominal connection with your ribs and your shoulders to slowly lower down. And then just let your arms come back down by your sides. Catch your breath, feel your body, and come back to the feelings of gratitude. We'll take about 5 seconds. Give yourself a full exhale, feel your breath, and then we're going to roll over and come on up to sitting and bring your feet out in front of you. So we're going to sit up on your sit bones. Okay, I'm going to scoot back so people can see in the room a little bit better. You're going to sit up on your sit bones and you're going to bring your shins together and just try and squeeze your legs. Okay, you don't have to do a death grip here, just a gentle squeeze. And then we're going to hold on to the back of the legs. And we're just going to take a moment to anchor into the sit bones and try and feel what we can't see. Try and feel a little more of the breath back here in your ribs and lungs. So let's take maybe 3 more breaths with that back rib lung awareness. And then working a little more in your corset cummerbund, draw your navel, draw your belly button back and sit back on the back of the sit bones and start to round your low back a little bit. Squeeze your legs together if that works for you. And then you're going to come up on top of the sit bones and sit back up. 2 more. So move from the lower abdominals first. Sit back. Tilt back up, come to the top of the sit bones. Okay, now a little more challenging if you want it. Your arms can come out, go to the back of the sit bones and maybe start to sit back a little bit further without using your shoulders too much or tightening too much in the front of the hips. And then pull yourself back up. And try really hard if you tend to be a head leader, which means like you would go back and lead from your head. And especially when you come up, people like to lead from their head and neck and pull themselves up, right? Pull themselves back from the head, pull themselves up with their head. So if you're someone who does this, this can be really challenging to work more from your abdominals and trying to feel, okay, there goes my lower abdominals, there goes my ribs, there goes my shoulders, same as you come up. Okay, there goes my hips, my abdominals, my ribs, my shoulders. So we'll just do 1 or 2 more. Can the head neck come last? Right, moving a little more with the core first, the core creating the foundation for the head neck to move secondary. Sweet. And then you're going to go back and challenge yourself. I don't know how far you go back. Just challenge yourself enough that you go back and you feel like it's work. And then try and let your shoulders rest down out of your ears. Keep your ribs drawing back. And then a little more challenging, can your ears come back in line with your shoulders? And we're just going to hang out here for 2 breaths. And then to come up, right? You're not going to lead with your head, lead with your core and then your shoulders. Woo, then your head, come on up, wrap around, roll over. Let everything rest that can rest. When you come back, notice, feel the breath in the back ribs and lungs again. And then coming back to those feelings of gratitude, we'll take a few breaths. And give yourself a full exhale, and we're going to come around to tabletop. So in tabletop, you can have, right, straightish arms, like a normal table. Or if this hurts your wrists, hurts your arms, come on down. Build an elbow table, a little different table. Tables come in all sizes and shapes, okay? So you're gonna build your own table, either on your forearms or on your hands. And then when you get to your table, come back to your corset cummerbund area. Bring some attention and awareness there. Gently let your shoulders slide out of your ears and 2 breaths across your back ribs and lungs. Now start down in your belly again. Okay, you're going to draw your belly button up and round your low back. See if you can go slow enough you can feel your low back. Then your ribs draw up, middle back, then your sternum draws up, upper back. Then last comes your neck and head. And you look into your legs or belly. Okay, now you're a cow. You're going to let your belly button come towards the floor with control, your ribs, then your sternum, then your chin slides, head goes last. Find your cow. Cat, from the tail into the low belly, low back, rib cage, mid back, sternum, upper back, then the head and neck. Hold your cat. Then your cow, pubic bone, belly, ribs, chest, then your chin and head last. One more cat cow on your own. Come back to your tabletop and pause. When you get to your tabletop, come back to the stability of the earth beneath you. 2 breaths through the back of your ribs and lungs. Then there's a fork in the road. Maybe you tuck your toes and go up and back to a downward facing dog. Maybe you stay right here or you take a child's pose. Okay, so everyone has a place to go. You do you. Okay, if you want a down dog, you bend your knees a little bit and give yourself time. Going slow enough that you can feel the nuances of the shape of the pose, the same in your tabletop or your child's pose. Now, if you're in down dog, can you let your neck and head relax a little bit? Let your head feel really heavy. If you're in child's pose, let your forehead feel heavy into the floor. And then we'll just feel our breath for 2 more breaths. And then with an exhale, figure out how to come to tabletop. And then do 1 more cat-cow, head coming last. So can you return to that muscle memory of moving through your spine so your head follows through your cat-cow. And then back to your table. And then we're going to figure out how to come all the way on up to standing. So everyone's really different. You're going to come on up, use your hands or don't, and come all the way on up and find a standing mountain pose. If you're in the room, feel free to turn and look outside. The lake's really beautiful today. The sky is quite amazing. If you're at home or in your office, finding a nice gentle gaze out in front of you. We'll take about 5 seconds just to feel our bodies anchor again. And again, try and just let your mind find some space and some ease. Stillness through your body, feeling the sensations of your breath. Full exhale. And then letting your arms just come a little bit in front of your body. Okay, so you can take them to the side and then just let your arms come out in front a little bit. And we're going to take your pinky fingers out and up and then down and in. So feeling your shoulder blades go out and up and feeling your shoulder blades go down and in. Okay. So scapular mobility. 2 more times. And you can imagine that you're in water. You're trying to pull water. You're moving through water. And the next time your arms come up towards the ceiling, we're going to pause. Okay. Feel, check in, find your shoulder blades. Okay. And you want to feel your shoulder blades yoke or connect into your armpit a little more. Okay. So if you externally rotate your arm bone, your shoulder blade hopefully will have a feeling like it's yoking into your armpit, into your upper abdominal. Okay, then you're going to take those yoked shoulder blades with your arms and stretch the back of the rib cage and the yoked shoulder blade up, 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 and do a nice full body stretch. And then with an exhale, draw your hip creases back and take a big forward fold. Go slow enough that your hamstrings and your low back have time to respond and fold over. And then come all the way back up to a full body stretch. See if you can come back to feel the shoulder blade yoked. And then lift the shoulder blade. And then pull your hip creases back again, wide and long forward fold. Then press in the feet. This time when you come all the way on up, pause. You're going to pull your arms down and lift your right knee. And then you're going to pull your arms up and put your right foot down. Fold forward. With your breath, come all the way back up. Pull your arms down and lift your left knee. Balance. And bring your arms back up. Left foot comes down one more time. Fold forward. Figure out how to walk out to downward facing dog or tabletop. You can always use a chair or a table if you need to, if you're at home. And then pull those hip creases back if you're in downward facing dog. And then let your head feel heavy and take 2 or 3 breaths. Exhale, we all come back down to tabletop. 1 round of your cat-cow. Let your head and neck come last. Great. Back to your table, child's pose or downward facing dog. Exhale. We'll all figure out how to come on up to standing. You do you. Right? We all come up differently. Come on up. Let your arms come down. 5 seconds. Short, meaningful standing meditation. When you feel your next exhale, taking a wide stride, you can face me or you can face the lake. Hands on your hips, heels in, toes out. So let's just warm up ankles and knees. So do 2 really slow sumo squats. All right, and then when you come up, let your arms come down in front of you. And then it's like a sun salutation arm. So you're going to go out and up with your arms and down into your sumo squat. And then your arms pull down and you lift up and maybe lift your heels. Go down. Arms go out and up. Pull the arms down and in and lift your heels as you come up. Sweet, one more. And then let your heels come down, hands to your hips. 3 breaths, come back to the feeling of gratitude, appreciation, and joy. With your next exhale, left leg rolls in a little bit, right leg rolls out, heel to heel. So bring some awareness to your left pelvic crest. You can put your hand on it. Okay, so this is that big bone in your left hip there. We're going to pull that left pelvic crest up and then anchor into your left foot. Okay, so your left foot, pinky toe to heel is going to anchor. It's like you're stretching a TheraBand. Okay, so if you want to find just the right amount of stretch, if you had a rubber band, if the back left leg were like a rubber band, right? Your left pelvic crest goes up and you anchor, and then you're going to bend your right knee as far as your right knee will let itself go. I'm just going to hold here. Bring your hands up to your chest, soften your chest, soften your shoulders. 3 breaths. Then come back to your corset cummerbund idea. Great, take your left arm up to the ceiling. Find your shoulder blade and yoke that shoulder blade on your back. Right? It's like that shoulder blade wants to come into the armpit, into the upper abdominals. Sweet. Bring your right hand on your right thigh bone and push your right thigh bone down. So you want your thigh bone to feel really heavy as you stretch up through the left side. So lift that left shoulder blade, stretch through the left rib cage, and let your right thigh bone feel even heavier. And then exhale, tip, side angle, bring your right elbow to your right thigh bone. Left heel, super heavy. 2 breaths. Feel your corset cummerbund and come all the way up. Hands to your hips. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. Second side, heel to heel. Left back heel, heavy, anchored. Or right, sorry, right heel anchored, right pelvic crest lifts up, okay? Like you're stretching a TheraBand. Unification of opposites. Keep that right hip nice and lifted. Let the left knee bend deep. Sweet, take your right arm up. Feel your right shoulder blade, yoke. Can you feel that right arm have some external rotation? The shoulder blade slides up. You stretch and lengthen. Left hand on the left thigh bone. Push that left thigh bone down. You want that thigh bone to feel really heavy, so you open the left hip. Check your breath. When you're ready, tip at the hip. Right arm up towards the ceiling. 3 breaths. Feel out, find your corset cummerbund, and use it to help you come all the way back up. Hands come to your hips. Great, legs can come around towards the front. You can have your heels in, toes out, or you can have your toes more forward. We're all gonna probably take a little bit of bend in our knee. We wanna feel really connected to the floor. And then soften through the chest and the shoulders for 2 or 3 breaths. All right, so bring your hands up onto your rib cage. So each one of us, just for a moment, define your rib cage. So feel out like, okay, there's your lower ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs, collarbones, okay, armpits. Kind of just have a good understanding. Okay, there's the rib cage. You're going to keep your belly button facing forward, okay, and take your ribs around to the right, but not your hip. So pause. So can you feel your rib cage in relationship to your pelvis? Pelvis hopefully didn't move a whole lot. Now take your rib cage around to the left. Check your right hip. Did it move a lot? And then come back to center. One more time. Keep your nose and your pubic bone together. Don't let your pubic bone move. Try not to move your belly button. And don't let your nose move. Just your sternum over to the right. Sternum goes to the right. Not your pubic bone, not your nose. Oh, keep your nose around. Woohoo. Now take just your sternum rib cage over to the left, not your nose, not your pubic bone. Super strong corset, cummerbund, not your nose. There you go. We don't need to use our neck. Great, come back. Feel it one more time. Rib cage to the right, nose straightish ahead. Rib cage to the left. Okay, not the hips. Keep the hips steady. Keep your nose, forward. Great, come back. Sweet, straighten your legs, let your arms hang, let everything rest for a moment. Whew. Left leg rolls in when you're ready. Right leg rolls out. Press into the back left heel. Lift your left hip bone up. Get long through that back left leg. Let your right knee bend. Great, now take both arms up towards the ceiling. Give both arms some external rotation and see if you can feel the shoulder blades yoke a little more into your armpit. Now slide your armpit shoulder blades up and stretch up through the back. And then exhale when you're ready, tip at your hip, right elbow to your right thigh bone. Okay, pause. Take your gaze, take your head, spin it to the floor and look at your toes. Take your sternum, so we're going really slow so you can embody this and feel your body parts. Find your sternum or your heart and spin it up to the ceiling. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit, but not your neck. Keep your gaze at your toes. Just see if you can feel your sternum spin. It's a twist like we just did standing. 2 breaths. Now, in your awareness, use your neck. Now spin your gaze, spin your head, spin your nose, and pause when your neck gets tight. Hold for 2 or 3 breaths. Find your corset cummerbund and use it to help you come all the way on up to stand. Find a comfortable, easy standing wide leg shape and let that pose, let all of that just settle for a few breaths. Your nervous system really appreciates breaks. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. Anchor through your right back heel, lift your right hip bone up, and bend your left knee. Woohoo! Take both arms up. It's becoming a little easier now, right? Your body starts to just process it. Shoulder blades yoke into the armpits, slide the back rib cage up. And when you're ready, tip at the hip, left elbow to left thigh bone, right arm up. Pause. Take your gaze, take your nose down to the floor. Look at your toes. Take a couple breaths. Find your sternum, find your breastbone, find your heart, and let your breastbone, chest, heart spin towards the ceiling, but not your head. Keep your gaze down. So you're working in your obliques. You're using your abdominals to twist, not your neck. Then take your nose around. Maybe start to gaze out and up towards your hands. Slow. Find your side angle, 2 or 3 breaths. Woo, nice strong bodies. Come all the way on up and do like a big X and stretch. Great, bring your hands down to your hips. Great, step your feet together. Woohoo, settle, give yourself about 5 breaths. Just let the pose settle into your bones. Give your nervous system a little break. What's it feel like to breathe in your body? Step your feet wide. Left leg rolls in, right leg rolls out. Exhale, bend your right knee. Inhale, take both arms up. One more time. Exhale, tip at your hip, elbow to knee. Left arm up towards the ceiling sky. Take your gaze down to the floor and spin your heart up towards the ceiling. Then let your head gently spin. Maybe the head spins so much you look at your left hand, maybe not. Put your head in a space where there's not a lot of tension in the neck. Notice if you crept your shoulders up to your ears. Find just the right spot for you and take 2 breaths. I'm going to come up, warrior 2. So keep your right knee bent. Take your arms out, warrior 2. Now keep your legs right there. So take both arms up towards the ceiling. Straighten your right leg and go right around. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. Bend your left knee. Scoop those shoulder blades on your back. Lift the back rib cage. Exhale. Side angle. Take your gaze down to your toes. Find your heart. Spin your heart gently around. Soften your shoulders out of your ears. Maybe take your nose around, your head around. Find just the right spot for your head. You don't have to look at your hand. You could look forward. You could look down. Shoulders out of the ears. Ears back with your shoulders. You got it. One more breath. Come all the way on up. Big X high 5 stretch. Great. And then step both feet together. Arms hang. Take about 5-10 seconds standing meditation break. Give your body a break. Let your nervous system have a break. Still bones. Mindful breath. And come back to that place of resource, feeling gratitude, joy, appreciation. Notice how that feels through your body. And just giving ourselves a few more breaths to savor that feeling of joy, of appreciation, of gratitude. And with your next exhale, letting your eyes gently open. Exhale, sweeping your arms out to come up. Long forward fold. So take your time folding over. Walking your feet back, your hands forward. You might have to turn around, yoga crawl, downward facing dog, or tabletop. Just 3 breaths. Exhale, we build table. 1 cat pose. Go at your own pace. You never have to stay with the group. 1 cow. And then back to table. All right, we're going to come all the way down on your belly. You can come through plank pose or you could just lower down. So if you want to go through a plank and you have that shoulder strength to lower all the way down, feel free. We're just going to all come down. Putting our hands by our lower ribs, tuck your chin. Let your nose just hover. Right, ground through the front of the pelvis. So you might feel your pubic bone a little extra weighted and pull your legs long. All right, so your challenge for many of us here in Baby Cobra is to not lead from the neck. All right, so keep your gaze down. And when you inhale, lift your sternum collarbones. So breastbone and your collarbones lift up. Because your collarbones lift up, your gaze lifts up. And then you come back down. So we're going to do about 4 more. Lifting, right? More from your core. Remember, your upper back is part of your core, as is your chest. Can your baby cobra come a little more from your upper back chest, not just flinging your head up? There you go. Find just the right baby cobra for you. Either stay in your baby cobra or keep moving. We're going to hold or move for 5 more seconds. Long, strong legs. Shoulders soft out of your ears. What do you notice? What do you feel? And then lowering down when you're ready. Letting everything that can rest, rest. So you're going to define what that means. I'm going to take 5 back body breaths. So opportunity here to feel again, breath through the back ribs and lungs. Full exhale. And then we're going to roll onto our backs. So just however you want to come onto your back, finding a way onto your back. All right, constructive rest pose. So many of us started on our backs with our knees bent. So we're going to let your knees bend and you're going to take your feet out really wide on your mat and bring your arms out like T's. Okay. You're going to drop your knees to the right windshield wiper And then just gently take your gaze over to the left. Take a breath. Knees drop to the left, gaze to the right. Slow and steady, side to side, 2 more to the right, 2 more to the left. Massage the back of your skull occiput on the floor as your head turns. And then you'll just coast back to constructive rest pose. Let your knees drop into each other. And if you're into soothing touch, you find it helpful, bring a hand to your chest and a hand to your belly. Or your arms can hang out at the sides. Intentionally hold your body still and just take 3 breaths here. And then feeling your breath again, find a really easy, comfortable shape. Come all the way back to gratitude practice, finding 2 or 3 things you're extremely grateful for, and taking a breath for each one. And then we always take the last part of class as self-care. So you might just hang out in that embodied feeling of gratitude, of joy, of appreciation. You might want to add some stretching or movement. We have about a minute, minute and a half here to take care of ourselves. Well, it's an added minute, minute and a half. All right, so we'll be quiet for a little while, giving you an opportunity to hear and listen to your body breathing. And then adding some intention, letting go through your chest and your belly. Softening the muscles in the chest, around the front shoulders, down into the ribs and the sternum. And softening the muscles in your belly area, all the way around into your low back. 2 breaths. And coming all the way back to your breathing, start some easy movements. You might take a full body stretch or draw your knees into your chest. And without overthinking anything, roll over and come on up to sitting. Woohoo, we'll take your arms out and up and give everyone a high five. Thanks, everybody. Happy Tuesday and happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you.